Hey guys, after seeing the thumbnail, I believe you'll be having a fair idea on what we are going to discuss today. Yes, the 60 team met with two accidents within a span of a week's time. That sounds crazy, right? If you think so, then the events that followed those incidents are even more crazier than that. So stay tuned for that. Both the accidents are not major ones, so thanks to the Almighty. But lots of exciting things happened surrounding these two incidents, because of which I decided to make a video of that and then share it with you guys. So I was on a road trip covering places like Mudumalai, Bandipur, Gudalur, Ooty, and these places are some of the most preferred tourist destinations. You all know that. So the plan was to climb down via Ooty, driving through the scenic roads, and everything was perfect until the final day. On the final day of the trip, we set out as we planned, and we reached a roundabout which said take right, and in 3 kilometers you would reach the Dodapeta suicide point. So initially I had no intention to stop anywhere for sightseeing, but at that moment I thought, okay, anyway we have come so close, and why not visit the suicide point and then have some fun over there. With that, I took the right as directed by the Nilgiri police who were regulating the traffic over there, and then I parked behind a long queue of vehicles who were on their way to the suicide point. And within seconds I was able to hear people screaming outside. Seconds after that, I was able to feel a thud in the car. At that moment I realized that an impact has happened at the rear end. I got so frustrated, I came out of the car and came to know from the police officer who was standing outside that a truck driver who was supposed to pass me at 90 degrees with no sense of his left came and scratched the rear end of the car. The impact peeled out the PPF installed at that place. Thanks to the PPF, that there was no paint damage done, but still the impact had made a minor dent in the upper boot lip. By that time the police officers had already stopped the truck, and I got in touch with the BMW to get an estimate of the expense that I'm looking at to fix that dent. We spoke with the driver, and the driver said he is helpless and he will not be able to make that much payment and all. So we asked him to get in touch with the owner. So the owner spoke to me over the phone. The first question he asked was whether I'm a local guy or not. So the reason why they asked that question is because they're checking if you have that much time with you to spend until this thing gets resolved. So usually people who visit these places are like tourists, and they usually won't have the luxury to spend that much time running behind all these mess. So I told him I'm a local guy and I have all the time in the world. So he showed up after an hour and started advising me that I should get it fixed using my insurance. So all these time, the Nilgiri police who had witnessed all these events was there to support me, and without their pressure, I don't even think the truck owner would have showed up. So usually their job starts if I decide to file a case against the truck owner, but still they spend their precious time helping me deal with the truck owner, and also helping me out, giving suggestions on what would be the best option for me. And the argument with the truck owner went on for another 2 hours, and finally, with the Nilgiri police breathing behind his neck, the truck owner decided to make some contributions. I knew that the contribution he is making is not going to solve my problem, and it's not going to meet the expense that I would be incurring when I tried to fix the dent. But still I wanted him to learn a lesson, because from Nilgiri police I came to know that these guys have made a habit that they create problems like this, and they always escape out of it, making use of the time constraint that all the tourists have. I'm sure that without the help of Nilgiri police on that day, it would not have ended the way it would have for me. So we might have had different experiences with police, but this experience of mine, it reminded me of how we dream about how the police officers are supposed to be. So the way they speak, the way they approach, the way they solve the issues, everything actually made a whole world of difference. I would like to specifically call out few names of officers who had helped me on that day. Starting off with Sendil Kumar sir, SI, Ooty Rural Subdivision, Jnana Ravi Tangadurai sir, he is the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Ooty Rural Subdivision. and also T.R. Dharmarajan sir. He's a head constable, Ooty Rural Subdivision. A big thanks to three of you for offering me that much help on that day. And officers aside, I feel so fortunate to have met these three wonderful personalities. They insisted me that I should not leave without visiting the suicide point. That was the beginning of all these incidents. So, but I had already lost the mood and lost lots of time over there. So I decided to leave. Huge respect for Nilgiri police post that incident. If I plan to visit Ooty or maybe any place nearby, I'll definitely find some time, meet the officers and will spend time with them. Exactly a week after the whole drama, I was on my way back to Chennai and I was almost about to reach the destination. That's when a monkey out of nowhere jumped in front of the car. There was nothing much I could do about it. Even applying the brakes didn't help. Felt really bad. This was the first time something like this has happened to me. So I gave myself enough time to settle down from the shock and then finally got back home. After reaching home, I got out of the car. I was able to find a dislocation, the front bumper, just in the place where the air dam is. If you had already watched my accessories video, then you would know that I had installed a BMW dashcam, which is supposed to record any impacts that happens to the car like this. So I was curious to know what was recorded by the camera. So I went back to the car, retrieved the memory card out of the camera and tried to find out the recording. I was shocked to find out there was nothing recorded in it. Imagine I spent a whooping 45k to get that dashcam installed from BMW. So I got so frustrated. I felt like I'm cheated. The next day I went straight to the BMW service center. I explained to them what had happened. I showed them the proof that this is not recording anything. So they brought people from their diagnostic center and I even made them sit along with me in the car, took them for a test drive, and then they again verified whether the camera is recording anything or not. Still, they were not able to find anything, so they confirmed that it is not recording. And they promised that they would get back to me after 3 days with a solution. And after 3 days, they came back, and to my surprise, they agreed that it is a fault from their side, and they were also able to resolve the issue with the camera because it was just some settings that were not configured properly. They changed all the settings, they tested a couple of rounds and made sure that the camera is recording everything like how it is supposed to. And most importantly, they accepted their fault and they decided to fix the dent at free of cost. So I was so surprised with that decision. I really found it worth spending that much money, because if this is the customer service that I'm getting from a luxury brand, then yes, this is what I paid for. I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Dinesh. He is the service head, Kun BMW Meenambakam branch. The second person being Venkatesh. He is the service advisor, Kun BMW Meenambakam branch. So these two worked closely together with me to get this resolved in very minimal time. So that's really great and I'm really thankful to them. And finally, I also extend my thanks to Kun BMW management for understanding the problem and taking the right decision, because these small things do play a major role in customer satisfaction. And the final work pending on my side is to get the PPF installed in the spoiler, also in the upper lip of the boot. And once that is done, then the car is back to normal. I got to meet lots of wonderful people. I think that is the main takeaway for me from all these incidents that happened.